Hi, Namaste. So I want to read Book 7, Chapter 2, on the piercing of the eyes of Chayavana Muni. Janamajaya said, O highly fortunate one, kindly narrate in detail the spread of the families of those kings in the solar line who were born and who were especially endowed with the knowledge of Dharma. Vyasa said, O Bharata, I now speak to you exactly what I heard of yore from Narada, the best of the rishis, how the solar race spread. Once, on an occasion, the Muni Sriman Narada, on his tour, came at his will to my holy hermitage on the beautiful banks of the Saraswati River. On seeing him, I bowed down at his feet and then remained standing before him. I then gave him a seat and worshipped him with great esteem. I then said to him, O best of Munis, you are worshipped by the whole universe. My retreat is sanctified by your coming. O all-knowing one, kindly narrate the histories of the kings that were famous in the family of the seventh Manu. They were unequaled as far as their origin was concerned, and their diameters as well were wonderful. Therefore, I am very eager to know in detail the history of the solar race. O Muni, describe shortly or in detail as the circumstances may require. O King, when I made this question, Narada, the knower of the highest reality, gladly smiled and addressing me, began to describe the history of the solar race. Narada said, O son of Satyavati, the history of the royal families is very holy and pleasant to hear. The more so when they are heard, one acquires dharma and wisdom. Therefore, do you hear, in ancient times, Brahma sprang from the navel lotus of Vishnu and created the world. This is well known in every Purana, that self-born, all-powerful, all-knowing, the doer of all, the universal soul practiced tapasya in ancient times for ajuta, 10,000 years. By virtue of that tapas, he got special powers to create the world. He meditated on the auspicious mother, and getting from her the excellent powers, he created first the mind-born sons, all endowed with auspicious signs. Of them, Marichi became well known in this act of creation. His son Kashyapa was respected by all, and he was of great celebrity. He had 13 wives, all daughters of Daksha Prajapati. The Devas, Daityas, Yakshas, Panagas, beasts and birds all sprang from him. Therefore, this creation is called the Kashyapi creation. Amongst the Devas, the sun is specially famous. His other name is Vivasvan. His son was named Vevasvat Manu. He was a famous king. Besides, Manu had 9 more sons. Ikshvaku was the eldest. Their names are Nabhaga, Drista, Saryati, Narasyanta, Pransu, Nriga, Dista, Karusa, and Risadra. Risadhara. Risadhra. Risadhara. I think that's it. Risadhara. Ikshvaku, the son of Manu, was born first. He had 100 sons, and Vikuksi was the wise and the eldest of these. I am now narrating how the 9 sons born afterwards of Manu spread their families. Ambarisa was the son of Nabhaga. He was very truthful, powerful, and religious. He always governed his subjects justly. Darsaka was the son of Drista. Though he was a Kshatriya, he attained to Brahmanhood. He was naturally weak in fighting. Always B was engaged in the works relating to the Brahmanas. Anartha was the well-known son of Sukanya. And Sukanya was the beautiful daughter of Saryati. The king Saryati gave his beautiful daughter in marriage to the blind Chayavana Rishi. But the Rishi, though blind, got his beautiful eyes again by the good character of the daughter. We heard that the Ashwins, the twins, the sons of the sun, gave him back his eyesight. Janamejaya said, O Brahmins, how is it that the king Saryati married his lovely-eyed daughter Sukanya to the blind Chayavana Muni? I have got a great doubt on this point. The king gives his daughter in marriage to a blind person if she be deformed, ill-qualified, or void of female signs. But the daughter in this case was beautiful. How then Saryati, the chief of the kings, gave over his daughter, knowing that the Rishi was blind? O Brahmana, I am always an object of favor to you, so explain to me the cause of it. Sutta said, glad to hear these words of Janamejaya. The Muni, Dwe Panayana, smilingly said, Saryati, the son of Vaivasvata, had 4,000 married wives. All of them were endowed with auspicious signs and beautiful. All of them were daughters of kings. They all were very obliging and dear to their husbands. But out of all these, the king had only one daughter, exceptionally lovely and beautiful. The father and all the mothers loved exceedingly that sweet, smiling daughter. Not very far off the city, there was a beautiful lake of clear waters, like the Manasarova lake. A gateway, steps made of stones, descended into the lake. Swans, Karandavas, Chakravakas, Datyuhas, Sarasas, and other birds used to play on its waters. 5 varieties of lotuses were there in full bloom. Bees were humming there all around. Various trees, sal, tamala, sarala, punagas, ashokas, banyans, peepals, kadambas, rows of banana trees, jambirs, dates, panasas, betel nut trees, coconut trees, kitakas, kanchanas, and other various beautiful trees encircled round the lake. Within these the white utikas, malikas, and other creepers and shrubs were seen beautifying the scenery. Especially there were amongst them jack trees, mango trees, tamarind trees, karanjas, kutakas, palasas, neem trees, kadiras, bale trees, amalaki trees, and peacocks were sounding their notes. Cuckoos were cooing their beautiful voices. Close to the place there was, in a sacred grove covered over by trees, staying Chayavana Muni. the Brigu's son of a tranquil mind, and the chief of the ascetics, thinking the place lovely and free from any obstacles, the Muni took his firm seat there, and collecting all his thoughts within himself, took the vow of non-speaking and controlling his breath, became engaged in practicing tapasya, restraining his senses and foregoing eating and drinking. That Muni constantly meditated on Bhagavati, on the nature of Sat, Chit and Ananda. O king, while he was thus meditating, the antil grew up round and covered his body, and nice creepers covered that also all round. O king, long intervals passed away, and it was covered over with ants, so much so that intelligent Muni was covered entirely and looked like a heap of earth. O king, once the king Saryati wanted to play in an artificial wilderness and came there to the lake with his wives. Saryati became at once deeply engaged in playing on the clear waters of the lake, surrounded by the beautiful females. On the other hand, the quick, beautiful daughter Sukanya, picking up flowers here and there with her companions, also began to play. Dressed in ornaments, Sukanya walked to and fro, her anklets making a beautiful tinkling sound, till she came to the ant-hill of Chayavana Rishi. She sportingly sat close to that ant-hill and instantly saw a shining substance inside through that, like fireflies. What is this? She thought, and wishing to take it, took a thorn and became very eager to prick it up. Slowly she went close to it, and no sooner she got ready to prick it than the Muni saw the beautiful, good-haired daughter, as if to one's liking. The ascetic Bhargava, seeing that auspicious nice lady with nice teeth, spoke out in a feeble voice, "What are you doing, O thin-bellied one? I am an ascetic. Better go away from here. You have got such big eyes, yet you do not see me. I therefore forbid you in this attempt. Do not pierce the ant-hill with thorn, though prevented." The daughter could not hear his words, and asking what was that, pierced his 2 eyes with thorns. Thus, impelled by fate, the princess sportingly pierced his eyes, but she suspected and thought, "What have I done?" Thus, becoming afraid, she returned from that spot. His 2 eyes being pricked, the great Muni, exceedingly pained, became very wrathful. He incessantly gave vent to sorrows and remorse, being restless with pain. At that instant, it happened that the king, ministers, soldiers, elephants, horses, camels, so much so that all the beings that were there had all their evacuations, passing their urines and feces, stopped. Seeing thus happened all on a sudden, the king Saryati was very much pained and became very anxious. All the soldiers came to the king and informed him of the stoppage of the evacuations. The king thought over the cause why this had happened. Cogitating thus, the king returned home, becoming very much troubled with cares and anxieties. He asked his soldiers and kinsmen, "Who amongst you has done such a heinous act?" On the west side of the lake, the Maharishi Chayavana is practicing the great tapasya in the midst of the forest. I think someone has done mischief to that king of ascetics, blazing like a fire, and therefore we are overcome with this disease. The high-souled eighth son of Brigu has become specially proficient in his asceticism and has become supreme. I think someone must have injured him, though I do not know who is that mischievous person that has shown him contempt, or, like that, this our state and present clearly shows that this is the fit punishment of that. Hearing this, the soldier said, "None of us has committed any mischief by word, mind, or body. We know this very well." Here ends the second chapter of the seventh book on the piercing of the eyes of Chayavana Muni, the Srimad Devi Bhagavatam, the Maha Puranam of 18,000 verses, Maharishi Ved Vyasa. Om Jayanti Mangala Kali Bhadra Kali Kapali Durga Kashma Shibdati Swaswati Om Tuyamata Chabidatu Yadha Bandusha Chasa